Well, I haven't done a Commodore Fix-It video in a little bit, so thought I'd take an opportunity to do one now. I have some pretty cool videos in the works right now that I think you'll enjoy. But in the meantime, let me pass this by you. Customer states. I love those YouTube videos. Customer state YouTube videos are hilarious for car repairs and stuff. In this case, customer states that this thing all of a sudden doesn't turn on. So let's see what we've got. So I'm plugging in the power supply, plugging in my screen. First things first, take a look at the LED. Not even going to bother opening it. I mean, the customer's already plugged it in and everything, so it's not like it's going to damage anything else at this point. So let's see what we've got first of all. Okay, so I got an LED, but I have nothing on my screen. So that's no signal, not even a signal. So that's a clue. That's clue number one. And I do have an LED light. So interesting. It comes on delayed. I think the switch, for one, we may want to look at that, or maybe put some deoxit on it. All right, so let's open this thing up and see what we've got. Okay. Okay. That looks pretty clean. Okay. So we had the LED come on. So, I mean, most folks will say, oh, test the voltage and test this, this, and this. Dudes, if the LED comes on, you know you got 5 volts. Okay, so first things first. All right, so let's throw a Diag cartridge on here. Let me see what we've got. Normally I would take out the SID, but like I said, this thing's already been turned on. So it's not like you're going to ruin anything any more than you already have. And with the Diag cartridge, I get nothing on the screen on Diag, so I'm going to switch this over to dead test. That's dead test right there. Again, you know, you're getting 5 volts, you see an LED, and nothing comes up on the dead test either. Not a signal, no signal. So first things first, when I don't get a signal, I look at the fuse. So got my tester here, and first thing I'm going to do is tone out the fuse. Okay, that tones out, so I know the fuse is good. So next thing I'm going to do is, just because we have 5 volts doesn't mean we have 9 volts. So, you know, that's one thing that we should test for. But before I do that, let's go ahead and take this out, because no matter what, we're getting a black screen. Chances are we got something going on here on the chip side. So this is a 250/425 board. So the nice thing is that most of these chips should be socketed. Okay. All right. Don't want to lose any of these screws. All right. So first and foremost, customer didn't state that this looks like it's been opened before. I see rub marks on the ROM here, and it's a different ROM than these, so I'm thinking this has been opened once before. Okay, that's besides the point. So let's first things first, let's take out the SID because the SID can be problematic. Get this in here. Okay, and I'll test the SID in a second, but because we got it out, let's see if I get anything on the screen here. Point this up. I'm still not getting a signal, but that could very well be because I'm getting 5 volts because the LED is on. So what that means is that I'm getting voltage on these pins here in the front on the switch, but I may not be getting voltage on the back side of the switch. When we turned this on, we saw that there was a little bit, or I saw that there was a little bit of a delay in the LED coming on. I really think there's something up with that switch. So now is a good time to test the voltage. And let's see what we got here. So coming in, we got the 5 volts, obviously, because we got the LED. And on the other side, we're getting nothing. So there is something wrong with the switch. And then if I come down here, yeah, so definitely something wrong with the switch. So let's go ahead and jump that switch, shall we? No, there we go. Okay. Look at that. Okay, so now that I've jumpered that, obviously we have a problem with the switch. Okay. And it's stuck on RAM test 1 right now. Okay. Okay, this is the dead test right now. Okay. 0 page bad. Okay, so typically when you get a 0 page bad, and it was also stuck on RAM test 1 on the Diag, that's typically a CPU problem. So before we go disassembling stuff and everything, let's go take a look. So we've narrowed a couple of things down. Okay, so I'm going to take the CPU out. My bad experiences in the past and going down the rabbit hole, I always thought that RAM test 1 and the 0 page might have been RAM or the multiplexers, and I burned myself in the past because it's ended up being the CPU. So let's test the CPU here really quick. Okay. Get the CPU in here. Ha ha ha. Okay, so I'm getting a failure on the CPU. So let's get another CPU in here. Okay. All right, so this is a good CPU. So let's put this guy in. Will we get this lucky? I think so. I mean, it's not luck really, honestly. If you get the 0 page fault and you're getting stuck on RAM test 1, which is only part of the memory that it's testing, it's not atypical for it to be the CPU. Or, I mean, it's atypical for it to be the CPU. Making sure I got the pins all in. All right. So now let's give this a shot. Okay. Wow, that's a nice sharp screen. I love the later versions of the VIC too. All right, we got past the RAM test 1. We're going to get past RAM test 2 here. Yes, we are. There we go. Okay. So you'll see some bad elements here because I don't have the harness hooked up, but that's okay. There we go. Those are normal. These are normal because I don't have the harness hooked up. No sound test. I didn't put the SID back in. So let me put the SID chip back in here really quick. I'm curious to see if this works. I didn't put it on the tester, but we'll find out right now if it works or not. I put the SID back in. Plug the power back in. Ooh, terrible sound. Ha 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 ha. Look at that. This is the result of a bad SID. This is what happens. This is why you take the SID out when you're testing. One, you want to make sure you preserve the SID just in case. But, you know, like I said, this computer's been turned on enough. And when I got it, customer stated it didn't work. So this is what happens with the SID, a bad SID. All right. Got some exposure there. So I take the SID back out. Took the SID out. Plug this back in. Huh. Look at that. Okay. So I have a test SID here that I'm going to put it in. It has one bad channel, I think, but it's good enough to test. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So there you have it. What an easy fix this was. So I won't bore you with unsoldering and soldering stuff back in. We'll just summarize it right here because this was a pretty easy one, I think. So we had a screen that didn't come on. We found that the switch is bad on the other side here. The 5 volt was working just fine. The LED light was coming on and everything, but obviously the 9 volt wasn't working out. So we fixed that by jumpering it. So this switch needs to be replaced. So that's one. Then the second is that we were getting stuck on the 0 page on the dead test and stuck on RAM test 1 on the Diag, and that was because the CPU was bad. And then you found what happens when you have a bad SID, a really bad SID, because it garbled up the screen. And so we basically replaced that, and now everything works as it should. And I love those bright screens, and the bright screens are the result of having an R8 VIC-2 chip, because that's one of the later chips, and the jail bars basically issue is almost non-existent on the newer chips, on the newer VIC-2s. So there you go. I think we'll just wrap up this video here. I'll replace the switch and put this back and just test the keyboard really quick. I doubt that I'd have any issues with that, but just in case, I'll do that. And there we go. I'll clean this whole thing up, give it a thorough test with the harness and everything, and then we'll get it back to the customer. So hope you got something out of this. And like I always say, enjoy the day, live for today, enjoy life. It's very short. So, you know, definitely make the best of it. Peace out.